Let's hopefully go ahead and get this party started. How's everyone doing today? Sorry I'm a minute late. I really tried to be on time, but all three of the scaredy cats decided to go and destroy everything over on the side of the other side of the room, so I had to go investigate that real quick to make sure they didn't destroy anything. But anyways, how is everyone doing today? Let's see if this is the first stream where like everything doesn't decide to blow up immediately as soon as I start. We got some big updates today. Well, I guess I shouldn't really say big updates, but we got Spec Map 2.0 that we're going to be looking at and discussing a little bit about what isn't there anymore and what is there, and maybe some thoughts. But I also want to play some games, do some fun stuff with you guys. We're going to be going on HHN head-to-head later on, where we can rank some houses throughout all of the years that I've gone to the event, and you guys can hear a little more of my thoughts about that. I promised scaredy cats, but I did make one fatal error because I forgot my wife closed tonight instead of opened. So the scaredy cat acquisition might be a little bit harder than I anticipated, but I did get these at the old Buc-ee's. So if we ever want to see the little scaredy cats, we know how to summon them. What's up, Papa Pot? Welcome, welcome. Let's go. Are you popping up on... Okay, sweet. Everything, as far as I can tell, seems to be working. This is a brand new experience for me. I'm not used to this. Maybe I'm actually getting good at this for now. But hey, what do I know? Also in big news, my second episode of HHN Trivia that I've been working on is complete and finished, and I'm expecting to be releasing that on Friday this week. But for those of you who want to hang out and stick around with me, I'll be previewing it at the end of the episode, or sometime in between, as we continue to talk about stuff. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to talk about, hit me up. Let me know. Nah, you're good, my good dude. I appreciate you showing up. It is all good. I hope you have a good D&D tonight. Man, I need to get back into D&D for real. All right, let me get this spec map here pulled up and everything. Let me see where we at. Oh. And let me make sure my alarms get turned off, because otherwise we're going to start hearing Live and Learn from Sonic Adventure 2 literally blasting as loud as humanly possible, because you can't adjust the volume on iPhones, and I'm going to start crying because it scares me. Woo! Eventually I'll get better at multitasking. All right. Here we are. Oh, and one other thing that I want to do later on today is, if you guys haven't seen the news or the permits, it does seem all but confirmed that we're going to be getting 2 more additional sprung tents. If you guys have been around the channel for a minute, you probably know that because we've talked about this in the past, that 4 sprung tents this year instead of 2 tents and 2 parades. And I kind of want to go on the Google Maps and kind of not officially map out what these queues could look like, but, you know, just a little blue sky idea of what we think it could look like. Because also, Google Maps has finally updated their HHN view, so it's not from, like, or their universal view, so it's not from, like, pre-Hagrid's construction anymore. It's from, like, August of last year. So you can see some HHN stuff, but it's actually a semi-up-to-date version of the map, which is pretty cool for now. Everyone's pouring in. Welcome, welcome, everyone. If anyone's new, I'm 6 Billiam. I love HHN. I'm basically just a shitpost in real life, so thanks for stopping by. Ask me anything. Let's hang out, talk some HHN, and have a good time. I'm going to pull up the map here in just a second, and we'll go ahead and get started talking about that. Yeah, 4 tents this year. Here, I'll jump over that here real quick, Papa Pot. Blah, 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 blah. So we'll spec this out more a little bit later. This computer is not... my computer is not good enough for me to be able to pull up Photoshop while I'm doing this, so it's going to be more of just a talking and moving than it is going to be actually making a diagram. But over way in the back of the park here... Oh, I didn't set that up yet. Give me a sec. LOL. Let's see. We knew that there was one thing that... we knew nothing could go perfectly. This is the perks of streaming once every year. There we go. Sweet. All right. So yeah, over back here in the, can you see my cursor? Sweet. So yeah, over back by the Men in Black area, behind the tent, the current 2 sprung tents is where the next 2 ones are going to be. So if I remember correctly from the permitting area, it's going to be like, I can't use my hand, I was going to do that, but you guys can't see that. Over towards the top of the back lot here is where there's going to be 2 new tents, and then pretty much everything that's in this oval, more or less, is all going to be moved somewhere. So likely this bottom half is going to be queue space, and then we'll have 2 tent haunts right here, as well as these 2 tents here. So how's that going to look? No freaking idea, but we're going to take a look at it a little bit later on. Hello, Cecil. Welcome to the party. I'm glad to see you join. I miss you. Hey, and Derek's here. Let's go. Welcome, welcome, everyone. How are we doing? I need to set up my stream deck as well so I can do like sound effects and stuff. But I feel like I'm always like, I'm always going on tangents. Can never complete one project because I'm always working on 570 things at once. But, that's what I love about this. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look into this spec map, because that's probably what a lot of you guys are here for and what you want to hear my thoughts on and chat about. So we're going to go ahead and kind of just go through this briefly. Again, I don't know anything for certain. I'm just a guy like you who's been going to the event for, this will be my 14th year. So I kind of know a little bit of how the event works and how it functions, and I've seen the patterns, but I don't have any inside info. I'm not the, super cool insider. I'm just a guy who likes to talk and speculate and want to hear your guys' thoughts, and you know what we can do. Papa Pie, yep. Fingers crossed the tents don't flood again. I have heard massive budget increase this year from a lot of people, and I'm hoping that also means better infrastructure for the back of the park. So I think we'll be good this year. We'll be golden. As long as, yeah, I think we'll be golden. Miss you too, CC. Derek started a new job this week. I have my 2 week. Let's go, Derek. Let's go. Yeah, I've been good. I hope the new job's going well for you. I'm about a month into mine, give or take, and hence why the content's been a little bit slower, is because it's been crazy adjusting to the new schedule and everything, but it's the best job I've had basically ever. And I've got a great team that I'm working with, so it's awesome. I hope you're having as good of luck with your new job as I am. But yeah, life is great for me right now. I can't really complain. Feel like I'm finally getting the groove of things, and I'm finally hitting my stride. So once HHN comes around and I can start making more content on what's official this year, we're gonna be golden. Anyways, let me flip over to the spec map that I thought I did like a minute ago, but I didn't. And as you can see, again, this is what is currently speculated for this year. Now, I'm not going to really touch on a lot of the stuff that we think may be coming for sure. And also, shout out to Horror Night Nightmares for providing us with this spec map so we can, play this game all year long. So make sure to go support them. And also any other HHN content creators you guys might see. Too many to name off the top of my head. Dreamport, Dumby Chris, Losh, Horror Fiends, Horror Homie, probably a bunch more that I'm forgetting and might remember throughout the stream, but we all love HHN. We should be building each other up and supporting each other's channels, and with our communities, we're working together because we all have the same goal, and that's to talk about the Halloween events that we love. So check them out after this stream if you haven't, or go subscribe. They're a lot less awkward than I am, I can tell you that much. Welcome, Josh. You made it. Yeah, I was about to say, Josh, I knew you were going to probably know exactly why I have that already pre-set up. Also, for the record, I made this backdrop in like 10 minutes because this camo netting just came in the mail today, and I saw it when I got back from work. So I was like, oh, I can make a really quick backdrop before this stream, so it's not just like this awkward blue wall. But when I redo this countdown series that should be coming out at the end of next month, well, theoretically a month from today, I think, I'm going to have a big elaborate set like this, hopefully. So this is, I guess, a little sneak peek of that. But I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Let's get to spec map. Let's get to talking about this stuff. And Again, if you guys have any questions in the chat, feel free to ask. Hello, Chino. Please don't eat my computer while we are talking about this. So just to go a quick peruse over everything, what we do kind of already know, Cadillac Soundstage 23B is pretty much seems to be confirmed for Ghostbusters. Is it Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, that one animated Ghostbusters TV show that I think wasn't just a fever dream and actually existed? Nothing is officially confirmed yet, but it seems like it's more than likely going to be some type of Ghostbusters haunt, which honestly I am all here for. I don't think you can do a bad Ghostbusters house, even if you don't do it as good as 29, but I don't think anything they can do can be worse, or I don't think any IP they can do can be worse than Stranger Things 4 last year, in my personal opinion. Sorry, I was reading chat. Yes, Derek, it is. Oh, that's the other thing that I was going to smack talk y'all before this stream started. Yes, I am intentionally wearing the HHN 21 shirt, since y'all did not vote for 2011 as the best year of HHN in my poll. I got Jack somewhere here strung up among the mess because he's in timeout for being on the leaderboard right now, but that's another tangent for later on here. Hey, Nick's in the chat. Let's go, buddy. What is up, my dude? Nick, this is my OG right here, Nick. It's my best man at my wedding. This dude's known me since I was in diapers. No, not literally, but like, we started at Universal at like the same time, and he's been with me from the beginning. He's been the one that's listened to me talk about HHN incessantly before I even started this channel, and even though he's not as big of a fan as I am, he listened to it, and he supported me, and he helped me make this channel, and he's done so much for me. So everyone say, hi Nick, you're awesome, and make him... Where does the Jewish Knuckles house go? Definitely probably one of the new tents. For sure. Jeez. Horror Homie, what's up, my dude? Yeah, I mean, Lady Luck could be coming back this year. I mean, anything's on the table. Not necessarily related to this spec map, but I've kind of talked about it in the past. If you look at last year's event with Dr. Oddfellow, he wasn't in any of the marketing. He wasn't in the ads. He wasn't on the commercials. He was really only on the website, kind of, and in the park. And still, even with that little promotion, he was still such a big part of the event. Like, it was almost impossible for me to try and get footage of him up front in the scare zone in the, 9 or 10 nights that I went last year, just because there was always people crowding him. There was always a huge crowd for that mini show. So I think that, showing that an original icon is that popular in a year where Stranger Things 4 and The Last of Us were headliners, I think that's a sign that original content is just as popular as the IPs now, or at least could be. And I think that Universal, or at least I hope that Universal has kind of recognized that, and that's why a lot of this spec map seems to be connected, or at least semi-related to original properties that we've seen in the past. Now again, it's all speculation, so I could be completely wrong on this, but I just, again, in my personal opinion, if you can put out original content that's just as popular as some of the biggest IPs that have ever graced our pop culture whatever, I'd say that that's worth a reevaluation to see how much it should be at your event. And I would say that that seems like a pretty solid indication that we'll either get another icon this year, or we'll see a continuation of Jack or Oddfellow, or some type of connection from the past. Maybe it's Boris, maybe it's Lady Luck. I don't know, but I think that original content is going to come back stronger. I don't want to say the era of IP is over, because the era of IPs I don't think is ever going to be over. I don't think we're going to ever get better than like a 4 IP, 6 original year. I don't think we'll ever go back to like 9-1 or 7-1 even. But I think that original content has a very bright future at the event, outside of just original haunted houses. Pun intended? No, it was not. But Thanks for catching that. I just talk sometimes. Let's see, Horror Homie. Oh yeah, let's go. Let me know about that 2011 video. I will definitely watch it, and I want to see what's up. And if you have any questions about 2011, obviously it was a while ago, so my memory isn't the greatest, but it's my favorite year. I've obsessed about it, so hit me up. Anyways, back to Speculation Map. A Quiet Place, Soundstage 24A. Now, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything right now. We're just going to, I'm going to pull up this POV from the incredible Theme Park HD, who I've used in a lot of my videos, and I am very grateful that they have content and exist. Let's see. We're going to see if I can find a good point. All right. I'm just going to pull this up, and we're just going to watch this for a hot minute. This is the Alien vs. Predator house that Hollywood did in 2014, or like the back half of it. Well, Orlando's focused more on the laboratory setting, and was more sci-fi. The Hollywood version was this. It was the aliens and predators, I believe, both crash landed in suburban California or something, and they were invading this suburban type environment. So on top of, you know, how incredible this haunt looks, just wait for the end, I think this is kind of a good indication of what A Quiet Place could look like. Now I'm not gonna call out all the haters, but I've seen a lot of people talk about how, like, there's no way we could do A Quiet Place because there's no way it could be quiet enough, but I don't think the volume dynamics are really a big issue with it. You can have quiet scenes at HHN and you can have loud scenes, and the contrast between those volumes is what makes the quiet seem even more quiet. And I mean, look at the puppets that we've been watching throughout this POV. Look at this giant animatronic. I think if we do get A Quiet Place, this is going to be something like, it's going to be something like this. We can expect it to look like this. Lots of puppets, maybe some big animatronics, lots of cool decaying suburban sets, maybe kind of like a little bit of The Last of Us. Is it going to be the best haunt ever? I don't know. But I certainly think that it's going to be a lot better than people are giving it credit for right now, assuming that it's confirmed. And I don't think that this property is as left field as a lot of people think it might be. I think there's so many ways that they could do it solidly with the technology that they already have without doing anything super crazy. Either using those Alien vs. Predator and American Werewolf type puppets. I can't type and talk at the same time, sorry, LOL. Or if they do something a little more akin to something like Poltergeist did. Let's see, where is it? I did not pull this video up. Bad streamer, wasn't prepared. But yeah, something like this where they're less puppety and they're more like rods, if that makes sense. I am not good at describing the technical terms of things. I am not that type of person. But, you know, I think that that's what A Quiet Place is going to be. I, again, can't say it's confirmed, but I think it's going to be the best house of the year, at least for IPs, if it does show up. One other thing to note is Stranger Things 2019 had that scene in Hopper's cabin where, you know, you're being attacked by the Mind Flayer and you've got those little tentacles. Let's see. Let's get past the stroby part that hurts my face. Can you guys see the strobe lights from these videos on me when I'm... No, I guess it's not that bright. Oh, this is a stroby video, but that's okay. But like in Stranger Things 2019, you had these little tentacles. Again, I'm pointing at my screen that you can't see. But you had these little tentacle animatronics and puppets that were poking through the sets, and, you know, it just makes so much sense to me. It just makes so much sense. It's like a best version of all of the alien type haunts that they've ever done. At least if you ask me. But what do I know? I'm just the $6 billion man. Nobody make that into a meme, please. Let's see. Let me go back chat here real quick. And Horror Homie, yeah, let me know. My email, it's just 6billion@gmail. It's in my video descriptions as well, so hit me up and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Luna Lord, glad to see you joining the stream. What's up? Oh yeah, that's right. Luna Lord just made a good point. The Demogorgon puppets where the faces kind of like flew open, that's something that could be really well utilized in A Quiet Place as well. Again, spoiler alert, I'm kind of, one, really bad at watching stuff, and two, really bad at remembering stuff, like outside of my HHN hyperfixation. So, like, I only saw the first Quiet Place movie, like, the week it came out in theaters, and I never saw the second one, and I've seen the trailer for Day One that's coming out, next month or June? So I don't remember a lot about A Quiet Place, so I kind of forgot that their faces could do the type thing. But, still, what I do remember, it's gonna be a great haunt. Was that a character hanging on the wall? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hollywood used to do some crazy stuff back in the day, like pre-2017, before the budget cuts. They're getting there. They're getting back to it, but the event hasn't been the same since 2017, from what I've seen. Yeah, I agree, Luna Lord. We've had soundproof hallways in Last of Us, Graveyard Games, and Hill House. So if they wanted to do any like real quiet scenes, they could always just use that soundproofing. But again, like I said, I think if you just have a quiet scene where there's only one actor who might even not have a big actor trigger, like think the intro room of The Last of Us last year. Besides the car noises and the character triggers, there really wasn't anything going on. It was just kind of the soundtrack. You could have a room like that, followed by something like the finale of Last of Us, where you have the two clickers that pop out on either side, and the sound of explosions and Molotovs going off. That volume dynamic is going to work really well in the haunted house, especially if they've got it back to back to back to back to back to back to back. Bazilla Revere, have you heard anything about the Bray Wyatt rumor? Yes, I have. I don't know anything about wrestling, so I'll admit I'm not the expert to ask about this. But I don't know if it's something that HHN would do, if that makes sense. At least in my experience, it seems like a lot of people that go to HHN are WWE fans and are going to go to the event regardless. And I think HHN more wants to focus on obtaining those properties that might draw in a slightly different demographic than normal, or might draw in people who have been on the fence, if that makes sense. I need to do my research one of these days and see if the haunt, like how well I think it might translate into a haunt. But I can say Hollywood back in the day used to do, I think they did an Undertaker haunt. My wife knows more about wrestling than I do, so if I sound like an idiot, she'll let me know in the chat. But Hollywood used to do wrestling haunts like way back in the day, so there's a very real possibility it could happen, but I just do not know if it's in the cards for Orlando, partially because of the event that it is and how different it is from Hollywood, but just also because, I don't know if they do a WWE house. It's weird. It's interesting. Kind of gives me Alice Cooper vibes, to be honest. Okay, let me try and run through chat here real quick so we can get back to talking about spec, since I always do this. Oh, I'm so excited for Quiet Place. Let's see. Papa Pie, if you get Bray Wyatt gets a haunt house this year, I'll get Ultimate Fear instantly. Bet. If it happens, you better come with me every night. Luna Lord, I'll get to that in a second. Okay. Enjoy, Papa Pot. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate what you popping in and providing more insight on stuff that I don't know anything about. Okay, I was right, Luna Lord. Thank you for. Oh yeah, Mike Aiello is a huge wrestling fan. That's true, but I don't know how much of a pull that necessarily means he might have. Nick, I agree. The NFL themed house where it's just Aaron Rodgers. Wait, they did that 2 years ago. That was the freaky house. They just forgot the Aaron Rodgers part. Like, ugh, lame. So mad at them for that. All right, anyways, let's get back to the spec map here. Do y'all want to see the scaredy cats? Also, let me know in the chat if you guys want me to get a scaredy cat up here that you can look at instead of this map in my face. The other two sound stages I want to touch on real quick, just because I don't really have a lot to say about them and I don't necessarily know too much. But soundstage 22 with these gender swap monsters or Bride of Frankenstein symbol. We kind of already knew we were going to get a Universal Monsters haunt. It's pretty much the, what's the word? It's the staple at this point of the event. It's that one property we can count on almost no matter what. What is this going to be? I have absolutely no idea. But I can say that after working on this trivia episode, I think I have to move Bride of Frankenstein Lives, like, way up in my rankings. Probably to where Legends Collide is, maybe a little higher. But that haunt just did so many things right as far as dynamic scare tactics and really good pacing that just hit all of the story beats while keeping up the scares. Like, Bride of Frankenstein Lives is hands down the best Monsters house they've done recently, and I will die on the sword of that opinion. So if we're either getting something like a sequel to that, or just another female-centric revenge or whatever type tale, you know, I'm all for it. I have no reason to believe that anything this weird would not work out. To me, the least successful Monsters houses have been the original in 2019 and Unmasked last year, just because they were pretty straightforward and, hey, Nick, what is up? Scaredy Cat Connoisseur, let's go! Sorry, I just had to give my boy a shout out again. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Monsters and Unmasked, to me, those were pretty straightforward representation of the characters. They didn't do anything new, they didn't do any new interpretations, it was all just pretty much straightforward with everything. Whereas Legends Collide and Bride of Frankenstein Lives, they went a little bit more on their own to try and tell a unique story, a different story. And because they weren't just trying to play the greatest hits of their characters, the scares felt different and less expected, at least in my opinion. So I think if that's the direction that Monsters goes in this year, it's gonna be solid. We're great. Way better than last year. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see a little bit more. So do you think Bride can be opening lore for new Epic? Yes and no. Do I think it could possibly be? Like, do I think that's an option that was probably explored and discussed? Yes. Do I think it's something in practicality that they would necessarily do? I don't think so. Again, because I think a lot of people who are already coming to HHN are going to be going to Epic Universe at some point. And I don't necessarily know, again, if a prequel story is something that's a big enough draw. Sure, it's something that's interesting, but it's also something that a lot of people who go to Epic are going to miss out on unless it's highly documented in some regard, and the backstory or whatever, all of the plot points are readily available. So it just seems like it's one of those things where it's like, it's too niche for Universal to want to explore because it potentially alienates part of the future audience. I don't know if that sounds really bad and if I conveyed that the way that I want to, but I hope you guys that stuck by and listened to that got the point from it. Josh, yeah, 2021 was better than I give it credit for. I think I was mostly disappointed that Welcome to Scary wasn't exactly what I was hoping Welcome to Scary was going to be. And also that's the only year ever that I've only gone like 1.5 nights, so I didn't get a lot of time to spend at it. But yeah, 2021 was solid. It's definitely better than... Wait, hold on. I can't finish this rant before I have everything pulled up. I do think that 2021 is definitely a better year than 2015, but apparently nobody else agrees with me. Anyways, if you guys aren't subscribed, or even if you are, whatever, appreciate the support. I really do love y'all, but please go vote for 2021 in this poll. I really don't want 2015 to win because I don't think it was one of the best years. I'm also a little jaded from 2011 getting knocked out earlier, but what can you do about it? Also, welcome, Will. I think mentally in my head I said hi to you, but I didn't actually say it out loud. So, welcome, Will. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. Will, another one of my OGs, started at Gringotts around the same time as me. Listened to me talk about HHN probably more than anything else in his life, and he's still stuck by me. Helped me a lot with this channel, with bouncing ideas off. Like, good dude. Appreciate him. Let's say hi to Will and give him a round of applause or something. I'll get better at memberships and updating emojis and everything. Also, like I said, I have about 20,000 things on my to-do list right now, and I feel like I'm never accomplishing any of them. Hayden with the Bride of Frankenstein is a misdirect for creature. Actually, I haven't released this video yet, so I can't talk about it. Okay, so I've talked about my HHN trivia teaser that we'll play a little bit later on. But one of the themes that one of the categories I did was Bride of Frankenstein Lives. And one of the little tangents I go on after one of the questions is actually about Creature from the Black Lagoon. I trust that you guys will still watch this episode if I tell you 5% of it, and I would appreciate if you do watch it and let me know how it is after we watch this teaser later. But if Creature from the Black Lagoon is dead and Bride of Frankenstein Lives, does that mean he's dead in the whole Universal canon that they have for this monster series right now? Is that why we didn't get Creature the last 2 years, is because he doesn't exist? Again, they could always just do a Creature prequel house. That wouldn't really be that hard or that out of the realm of possibility. But I think that was maybe kind of a fail-safe, whatever, so that way they would have an out in this series if a creature haunt didn't work. John Murdy, who is like the creative mastermind behind Hollywood's event, made a tweet either late last year or earlier this year talking about how Creature from the Black Lagoon wasn't on the cards just because he wasn't given the budget to do it properly, and that's kind of how I feel about it at Orlando. I've got my own qualms with Hollywood's event from before the last 2 years that have been pretty good, but if John Murdy, who likes to do weird and crazy stuff like that AVP POV that we watched earlier, I don't think Orlando, that typically plays it a little more straightforward with some things, especially like the Universal monsters, I don't think that I don't think Orlando would have the confidence or the budget to do it right correctly either. So, I think it's still in the realm of possibilities, but I definitely don't think it's one of those that's like a lock-in, if that makes sense. I forgot, Nick, you're at Epic right now. What's up? Living your best life. And I'm still probably not going to go to Epic until a year after it opens because I hate crowds. Let's see. Derek, I agree, 2019. Like, I like the story. I just feel like besides like Wolfman and what was the other scene I really liked? I liked Dracula and I liked Phantom. I think besides those three, it just kind of felt like this is exactly what you would expect a Creature from the Black Lagoon or Mummy or Frankenstein scene to look like. Like, it was the first idea, they ran with it. They did it well, but it wasn't something as inventive as we saw in, 2021 and 2022, where it was its own weird story with cool set pieces and a unique way of portraying things, if that makes sense. Let me keep going through before I get back to the map. Lisa Frankenstein, I'll get to that in a second. Cecil, thanks. Will Roebuck, give me 7 reasons 2021 is better than 2020 or 2015. Bride of Frankenstein Lives. Oh God, now I have to go through it. The effects in Hill House were like some of the best that they've ever done, even if that wasn't necessarily my favorite house of all time. Case Files Unearthed was absolutely incredible. I can't say they had better entertainment because Carnage Returns was pretty awesome. Better themed food and whatever. Food and beverage stands. Didn't have The Purge. What else was in 2020? Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't great, but they did an IP so different from how they've normally done an IP, and they went totally left field with what they could have done something really basic with, so that deserves to be applauded. And 7, The Scare Zones, especially... oh wait, that was 2015 I'm thinking of, LOL. I can't remember... Oh, Wicked Growth. We'll just go with Wicked Growth in 2020. No, wait, that was 20... I don't know. I can't remember my years, and I have a cat on me now, so I'm distracted. At 20 viewer... Shut up, Nick. Y'all, I get... My stutter acts up when I start streaming, and I get scared and nervous after I talk for too much, because I feel like I'm getting annoying. Stop yelling at me. Yeah, true, Luna Lord. True. I mean, if Creature's dead, then we also don't see Dracmoni or Wolfie. Yeah, they left that ambiguous. Well, I don't want to say ambiguous, but since it was a rotating ending, maybe they can find a way around it or choose one of the endings to be canon. But, hey, I'm excited. I liked 30%. Yes, hi, Nixie. Say hi to everyone. Yeah, I agree that 25 felt a little more like a proper anniversary year to me as well. But I would argue that 25 was also a little more fan service for the sake of fan service as opposed to, like, compelling fans, or like compelling crossovers for the sake of being compelling and for the sake of not just being like, oh, we can do these two properties together and make a decent haunt. Hey, Pixie, say hi. Nick says hi to you, Nick. All right, let me try and stop tangenting. Also, if you guys are just tuning in, whether you're subscribed or not, welcome. I'm 6Billium. I like memes and cats and talking about HHN. I'm going to be previewing my trivia episode that I worked on a little bit here. If you guys want to stick around, we're just talking about speculation right now and some other random HHN tangents. So if you guys have anything you want to chat about, drop it in chat and hang out. I appreciate each and every one of you for sticking through right now. Excuse me, Nixie. Yeah, Josh, 2 years of anticipation after 2021 was canceled. RIP. Thanks for making me a meme, Cecil. That's exactly what I've always wanted. Okay. I'm famous. I'll have to show you the meme that I made today, Cecil. Message me after the stream and I'll send it to you because I can't post it here. All right. Anyways, let's go to the rest of this spec map and kind of look over at the right side. Oh, wait, I guess I didn't talk about South America. You can't really see it because I have this map like super blown up and the detail wasn't, I didn't download a super high resolution version at first. But South America looks like what is a bunch of little trees, at least to me. Trees or flowers or some type of foliage down in Soundstage 23A. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that they think this is Monstros, which is one of the best haunts that Hollywood has ever done. They did it last year, and it was just different monsters of Latin America. Had some great animatronics, incredible scares, some really cool sets. And I certainly think that's something that could make its way to Florida. But, again, I kind of went on this tangent earlier about what I was talking. I'm going to burp. I didn't burp. We're good. Oh. I lied. Excuse me. Talking about how successful this original content was last year, even though it wasn't on any of the marketing or any of the commercials. But Dr. Oddfellow was such a popular part of the event for fans and newcomers alike. I think that there's got to be, a bigger push on original content and exploring the original ideas that Universal has already done, but not in a fan servicey type of way, expanding on it. So when I see South America with a lot of trees, I immediately think of Dr. Oddfellow, Jungle of Doom. Arguably the best scare zone last year, from what a lot of people say, from what a lot of content creators say, and from what a lot of guests say as well. Well, it wasn't my favorite, but I can objectively say that it was done very well. And a Jungle of Doom haunt to explore that idea in even more detail and expand on it, and especially make some really cool, like, indoor jungle type thing. Sold. I'm sold. Yo, fam, what's good? Flan, welcome to the chat. Nixie, what do you want? Girl from Duckville, hello. It's alright, we're not even halfway through. Well, maybe we're halfway through in time. I don't know yet, but we're not halfway through in shenanigans. Nix, can you please not climb the set behind me? That would be great. Oh, you discovered the treats? Okay, you're not smart. Anyways, so I am pretty much sold Soundstage 23 is Jungle of Doom, in my unpopular, probably incorrect professional opinion. As far as original content goes, that's about all I know. I'm not going to really try and guess too much about what this Black and White Haunt Intent 2 could be, or this Egyptian Intent 1, or even the Candy in Soundstage 24, or the Unknown Original. Like, could be major suites, but again, if we're getting a quiet place that has a heavy focus on suburbia, maybe not necessarily seeing major suites where it also could potentially take place in suburbia, if not in just the crazy Wonka type warehouse factory itself. And I've heard Slaughter Cinema 2 for Tent 3. Some people have been saying that for a hot minute, and I even said a couple of months back that I think the time is right for a Slaughter Cinema 2. I don't necessarily think that means that they're going to do that exact idea again, but I feel like it's been so long since we've had one of those pure schlock haunted houses. We've had comedy since then, but they haven't had that, grimy, not low quality, but that like grungy, campy feeling that some of the best dark comedies do. So I feel like it's time again for them to do something like that. And if it happens to be Slaughter Cinema 2, which is basically one of the best original content houses / best houses ever that they've done, it makes sense to me. Okay, Pixie, come get these treats. And then I'm going to scoop you up and make you say hi to everyone again. Okay, let's drop back. Chit-chat real quick. Josh, yeah, I think that we're going to be exploring Oddfellow's story, and I think eventually we're going to explore Boris's story. I think it's just going to take some time to get there. In Hispanic culture, marigold is known as the flower of the dead. Ooh. Probably of Saint Muerte, Lady Death, or my taste. That could be really cool, honestly, Luna Lord. You did more research than I did, so thank you. I appreciate that. Because, yes, marigolds make sense for how those look. So, yeah, maybe it could be something like those Monstros. Again, I know Hollywood and Orlando kind of like to see separate as events, and Orlando really hasn't borrowed that many ideas from Hollywood. Hollywood has done Orlando, but I don't know if Orlando has ever done Hollywood, which is going to be something I'll have to research. So it'd be interesting to see, do they do that and continue on kind of side by side? Because I don't see John Murdy abandoning this Latin America horror theme anytime soon. Or do they abandon it and Orlando kind of takes the reins on it? We'll see. But I mean, hey, their Universal Monsters house 2 years ago, year and a half ago, whatever. First half of the story was told in Legends Collide, and then the back half was told in Hollywood, which I did forget to mention when I was talking about that earlier, but we'll pretend that I was a smart YouTuber and move on from that. So maybe they could do something like that with Monstros. Maybe Orlando gets some of them. Orlando gets 3, and then the next 3 take place in Hollywood or something. So that way they can focus on creating those more elaborate sets and scenes that they've been doing. Certainly something I think that's worth considering. And yes, in 2013 they did do La Llorona. After Hollywood did. But I feel like Orlando was at least slightly different, and I feel like, well, they explored some concepts more in depth that Hollywood didn't, and they definitely didn't have those giant animatronics at the end, so it kind of feels different, but I guess, yeah, it's kind of the same idea, which, again, I don't know why they never continued that Urban Legends La Llorona series, because that haunt was really good. Don't ask me what it is in my rankings, because I'm not that good. I don't remember that much stuff, but it was definitely like top 40, I think. I think it was like 36 or something, or 26. Can't remember. Hayden Mallory, wasn't Hollywood the first part of the story and Orlando's the final? No, because Hollywood's was the... Somehow the amulet was recovered or something and brought to the European Museum of History or whatever it was. Here, let's go to the wiki real quick because I want to figure this out before we talk about the final empty that's on the map and move to our next topic of discussion. There's so many Universal Monsters houses. Hopefully this isn't going to start blaring a random stupid ad. Let's see. Did I click on Orlando? Clicked on Orlando. Oh, and it doesn't have a... Maybe it's in the trivia at the bottom, because I don't want to have to type this in again. Oh, lame. There's two. Should I do, also, quick aside, doing this. Y'all think I should do HHN Wiki races? Would y'all watch that if we did that and just screwed around for a little bit? Not tonight, but just in general. Because I think HHN Wiki races could be fun. Okay. Doesn't say, like, the full story, does it? Rude. Because I remember... I'll look this up while this trivia episode plays later on, so that way I can get you guys an answer. Because I don't want to bore you with going through random research and tangents and everything. All right, okay, real quick, back to Spec Map. Final one, what is that? Tent 4, Lantern, Insidious. I think it's got to be Insidious. I was talking about this a little bit earlier today, but I think it's going to be a compilation that's more focused, kind of like the last film, The Red Door, was. The standalone Insidious haunt and the section in Blumhouse 2017 were both kind of greatest hits moments from every entry in the series. I think this one this year, assuming that it comes to fruition, is going to be 1, 2, and The Red Door, which is, what, number 5? And I think it's going to solely focus on the lipstick-faced demon as the main antagonist. In the past 2 haunts, all he's really gotten is that one little room of his lair where Tiptoe Through the Tulips is playing, and it's been incredible. It's been an absolutely great room, but I think this is a way for them to bring back this franchise, and they can kind of expand upon that villain's backstory a little bit more. They can do something cooler with it. Instead of having just one little room allotted to the lipstick face demon, we can go, spoiler alert for the 5th movie, but we can go into his part of the realm in the further and do that like final standoff, kind of like Stranger Things-esque vibes, but scarier. So I don't think this is necessarily a redo just to do a redo. I think that there's a compelling argument for it to be done different and interesting. And again, I'm really excited for A Quiet Place, but I'd also be really excited to see Insidious come this year, because every time it's been at HHN Orlando, it's knocked it out of the park, 100%. Hey, let's go. It'll be a good time, Josh. Dang right. Oh, all right. So that's about all I have for speculation for right now. Because so much is unknown. I think we're gonna get an announcement by the end of next month. I would assume before Memorial Day weekend, just because I don't see why they would wait to make the first announcement until after Memorial Day weekend, unless they did it like way after. But I think we'll get one next month. That's about my only other, or mid next month. I think that's my only other, speculation tidbit. All right, so now that I've talked about trivia a little bit and I want to figure out the story of this Legends Collide to get back to you guys, I think we're going to watch the first round of trivia. How does that sound? Give me a something, a wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man in chat if you guys want to watch trivia now, or if you want to wait until later. Josh, you didn't miss the talk about the Egyptian Museum. I just don't really know what to say about it right now. But maybe after I read about a semi-Egyptian museum with Legends Collide, I will know what to talk about. All right. Let me get this pulled up. Yeah, Pinhead Larry, let's go. Nick, you got it. Where is this video? Okay, whatever. We're gonna have to do this the long way. I'm gonna tell me if this is loud or not. Because I don't know if it's gonna be really loud or really quiet. And now I'm going to pause it. So that I'm going to pause it until I know whether the volume needs to be adjusted, so that way you don't get through the first minute of this not knowing. And then, because my my delay is so bad because my internet isn't great. So hi Pixie. Oop. Hey Chandler, welcome to the chat. You heard nothing? Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. We're gonna hopefully not blow our eardrums out. Hashtag inexperienced streamer. Okay. This should hopefully be playing a little bit louder. I'll get back to you, Chandler, I promise. Okay, and now we wait another 30 seconds where I can talk about Bride of Frankenstein. Honestly, I'm stoked for it. I think Bride of Frankenstein is the best Universal Monsters house that they've done. I think it took the series in a unique direction and did some really cool things. And I'd rather see something like that again as opposed to seeing something like Unmasked again. So, Universal Monsters to me are just Universal Monsters. You kind of get what you get. So I think anything that's different from what might be expected is going to be something cool. Okay, bye, Pixie. We got all these scaredy cat connoisseurs in the chat, and you won't even come say hi. Okay, we're still not. Okay, we're gonna try one more thing and hopefully this fixes it. Hi everyone, remember at the beginning of the stream when I said nothing would go wrong because it was all going smooth for once? Oh, I didn't switch it over on here. That's why. That also is probably... Ha, LOL. RIP. Yes, Will. Very much Diva Kitty. Okay, let's hope that fixed the issue. We're gonna go get Diva Kitty, because she's apparently a good luck charm. Come here, Diva Kitty. Come say hi. You bug me when I'm sitting at this computer, so now I'm bugging you. Say hi, everyone. Hey. Even though no one can see you because it's so dark. Okay, if I don't hear anything in the next little bit, I'll just start playing this video. I can't tell how far my lag is or my input delay is, but I'll start playing it and hopefully you guys can hear it, because I turned all the volumes up as high as I could. So I will just start playing trivia and hopefully you guys can hear it. Feel free to play along in the chat if you would like. I'll be hanging out here looking up Legends Collide. Let's see. Oh, now we're getting the no. Ah! Okay, maybe we won't preview trivia because I have no idea. No idea why it is not playing audio. No, it shows on my wavelength that the audio is playing and going through to the stream, so I don't know what it is. Because it's worked before. I've played media videos on here, so I don't know. Let me... Nix, do a dance while I'm trying to fix this. Am I gonna get copyright strike for singing that? Do 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 boo 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 boo. Okay, we're gonna try that, and if this, OBS, why are you trying to update as I'm streaming? Can try. Thank you for telling me I was off key, Will. That is very much... that makes me feel so much better now. Yeah, I have no idea what else to troubleshoot, so... I guess, noise alert in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, maybe? Also, I'm glad that a lot of you haven't left through these technical difficulties, or if you have, new people have joined, and I appreciate it, because I feel bad that I can't figure out why this isn't working. Okay, did we hear anything that time? I know I didn't change it over, because I didn't want to keep spoiling it, but... let me know, and if not, okay. Nope, then, I don't know. We'll move on to something else. We'll go do Q build, and I'll look up monsters eventually. Sad streamer. Okay. We're gonna have... Alright. So I guess we'll go and talk about HHNQ build, which I haven't done since 2017. Let's go. Unofficially, of course. But, let's see, let me get back to... Yeah, Chrome here. So it seems, at least through permitting, that we're gonna have 4 tents this year instead of 2. So we're getting 2 new sprung tents. They're not looking to be the same style from the construction pictures. They're more akin to the Men in Black looking tent that was over here for like Lunatic's Playground and House of a Thousand Corpses and Blumhouse and Scary. But they're going to be located on the backlot area here by Men in Black, kind of right under where it says Backlot Drive. So that means we get 4 sprung tents, which means they're all going to be awesome. And I'm so stoked that we get more tent locations because the tent haunts are always so good. But what that means is now we're going to be losing the parade buildings as locations for at least this year. But now we've got a whole mess of queue that we've got to try and figure out how bad our walks are going to be. Is every walk going to be as bad as Dr. Oddfellow's was last year? Who knows? But... try and zoom in and see my mouse, but this area right here is where these sprung tents are going to be located. And then a little farther south, just above where these sprung tents are, is going to be that type of queue platform, theoretically, that we saw for The Last of Us that year, or last year, that little temporary raised platform. Is it on this map? Yeah, it's right here. So something like this is theoretically going to be over here for these 2 tents, and then all this stuff is going to be relocated. Dudes will build a queue, but won't build a great relationship with their peers, 2017. Yeah, true. I felt that, Nick. I felt that. But anyways, looking at what kind of the layout that we've had in the past, I don't think it makes sense for these first 2 tents to use the queue that Dr. Oddfellow was using, especially with the development that we're getting this extra queue space right here. I think it's likely that these 2 tents enter over here, because I mean it's 4 lanes wide, because they would use 3 of them for standby and 1 for the express for Dr. Oddfellow, so they could open that up and make it standby express for the 2 haunts, theoretically. And then I think they would utilize the next to the Men in Black down and backs, as well as the little area over here for their queue space. And then I think that these sprung tents would be more or less something similar. But I think they'd probably enter from DreamWorks, which... who knows? We're going to have to see how it looks when it opens up. But I would imagine the parade, what we saw for Monsters and Last of Us last year, end up being kind of similar to what we get for these 2 tents. If that makes sense. That's kind of just what I wanted to touch on real quick and say my thoughts on, you know, how I thought everything was going to get laid out back there, because it looks weird and crazy. But next, I think, since I can't play trivia, stupid, need to figure that out. We're going to go on HHN head-to-head. Josh is in here, so I'll let Josh talk about this a little bit more if he wants to, or, what's the word? Say anything that I'm missing out on. But to his website, and basically you can just rank haunted houses from HHN. You can vote for your favorite, and it basically collects everyone's data to get a collective list of what is the like definitive best house at HHN. So I have a lot of fun when I'm editing. Like if I'm doing research, I'll hop on here for like 5 minutes here and there and just kind of go through the houses, ranking them, just to get my creative juices flowing and, you know, thinking about stuff. Plus, it's just fun to kind of compare haunts that you would have never compared originally. So I have the link for this down in the description of this video if you guys want to check it out and do it for yourself. But you can you can do this advanced mode, and you can select any year that you want to rank. So you could select every event year, or just the ones you've been to, which is what I have selected. Or you can select by like eras, and has all 4 events: Orlando, Hollywood, Singapore, and Japan. So if you're more seasoned of a traveler than I am, you can rank on all of those. But I'm just doing Orlando right now, and let's go through and just talk about some HHN haunts and do some matchups. Yes, help Josh and I get the best list on the internet of HHN houses. You want your voice to be heard for like what's the best, and you want like the biggest community ranking you can get. This is it. It's so cool. And yeah, a work in progress. So if you see any bugs, let Josh or I know, or someone, and I'm sure he'll take care of it because he's better at this stuff than I am at streaming and content. But I think it's great. So first, Purge Shining, easy. Purge wasn't great. That's the nicest thing I'm going to say about that haunt. Ooh, and now we got 2. Hey, Skull and Spooky. Welcome, my dude. Welcome. We still need to find a time to do trivia. So I'm going to message you after the stream so we can try and set that up. But if there's anything you want to talk about, Skull and Spooky, hit me up. Or anything you want to hear that you might have missed. Dr. Oddfellow versus Deathlight, or Afterlife Death's Vengeance. 2 Sprung 2 haunts, 2023 and 2013, so a decade of... Oh, thank you, Cecil. Yeah, I don't think the audio is working for the videos. Sag. Dr. Oddfellow takes this by a mile. I think Dr. Oddfellow is easily in my top 10, and you guys are going to see that when I re-release this countdown series later this month. But Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins was incredible. Also, one of you is probably going to call me out for doing something that contradicts what I said in the countdown series, so call me out. Call me out for sure. All right. Ghost Town versus Asylum in Wonderland. Ghost Town. I didn't think Asylum was a bad haunt, but it didn't use the 3D to its fullest potential. And even though Ghost Town wasn't really scary, it looked really cool. Oh, we got 2 good ones back to back, or head to head here. Case Fails Unearthed is going to be the obvious winner because it's my number 3 of all time, which is crazy to think about. But Orphanage was also really cool. I remember a lot, like, I vaguely remember a lot of, like, liminal spaces in that haunt. And I don't remember the whole experience, but I have, like, weird snapshots of it. And from what I remember from all of those, it was really creepy. For all of its failures, it was really good. But Case Files is just an all-timer, man. It's just in another league. Okay, Josh, I will definitely try and... I have a terrible memory, so I don't remember a lot of individual stories. But they might pop up as I go through. But yeah, I'll get some stories. Wish I'd been going to the event longer. Same. I wish I would have started in like 2017. Asylum is cheeks. Yes, Will. Yes. Skull and Spooky, yeah, so basically it's just an online ranking game where you pick which house you like more, and all the data gets collected to create one giant collective online ranking. So the URL for this is in the channel description if you want to play along at home or play for yourself. Like I said, it's a lot of fun just to do here and there. I normally leave it open, and then I just refresh it when I start doing research or when I need a break, and it's a great 5-minute outlet. 2019's Ghostbusters versus 2020's Hades. Gotta go to Hades, my guy. Again, first year I ever went to the event was 2010. So I remember we went through the lights on with this one. Thanks, Mom, wherever you are. And Dad, I guess you probably helped too. But I remember a lot of cool Medusa stuff with this, but I don't remember any specific, I don't have any really good specific stories other than the same as everyone else when we went through and we're like, why is there no Hades at the end? Why is this giant throne just empty? It's the biggest story I have. It's the only thing or I shouldn't say the only thing, but that's the main thing I remembered. Man, it was so good. Ghostbusters, I worked at Universal at this point in time during 2019, and for my team I was able to get us a lights on walkthrough of Ghostbusters before the event started, and we had to spend a little more time in there than you normally would on the unmasking tours, and it was just so cool being able to see the details and being able to take your time a little bit more and see the stuff and just kind of not wander around more, but not be as tight of a group. And that's why I think Ghostbusters is probably going to be pretty good this year if we get it again, because 2019's wasn't bad. It had its flaws, but even if it's worse than that, then that's still a pretty solid house. Hey. All right. On to, two that are close together. Seeds of Extinction versus The Shining. And it is not even close. Seeds of Extinction, one of the best haunts of all time from the complete package. Shining, I was not a fan of. I just don't like the fact that they didn't have the Overlook facade, or Overlook Hotel as the facade. A lot of the scenes just felt like they didn't represent the spirit of The Shining, and they felt like they were a commercialized haunted house. Like, it felt very commercialized and very sanitized. It didn't feel like The Shining. It felt like, a museum of The Shining. Hi. So I'm definitely going Seeds, and I have to do this with my right hand because Nyx is literally, I don't know if you guys can see, she's literally just sprawled across my left hand right now. All right. American Werewolf in London, or Weekend After Hours Nightmare. American Werewolf in London. Fun fact story about this. Pretty much the same exact layout as Silent Hill. Because I believe in 2012 this was supposed to be built, but when everything happened with Soundstage 44's demolition, they ended up pushing it back so they could get Silent Hill done that year, so they just reused the layout that they had drafted for this, or something like that, because they're basically carbon copies of each other, and the beginning of The Exorcist haunt is pretty much the same as this. So I always thought that was a fun fact. Another fun little trivia thing, I actually am thinking about putting this in an episode at some point, so spoiler alert / clue for you guys, if you care. There was a sideshow act in 2012 called 20 Penny Circus, and little me did not remember liking that show, but for some reason in 2013 for An American Werewolf in London, they made a little label for the alcohol in it, and it was called 20 Penny Ale as a reference to that sideshow act. And I thought that was just like such a random, obscure thing to be an Easter egg for that it's really cool. And Weekend, I really did enjoy. I hope we see The Weekend again this year for a scare zone. I think that would be really cool. I think it would be something like Vanity Ball and Rob Zombie's Love Child, which sounds awesome. But I just don't think the house was phenomenal. It did a lot of really cool things, and it did a lot of really cool things really well, but I don't think it elevated them to be like that wow factor, if you know what I mean. Yes, going spooky. I do kind of agree about, for Shining, maybe they didn't have the space to do the Overlook Hotel. I think there's still some way that they could have, they could have kind of fudged it. And maybe this is just me being a whiny HHN fan and a nitpicky little creator, and I'll fully admit that. But I feel like when you do IPs, they come with a certain expectation and they come with a certain weight. And if you don't meet that kind of basic expectation, the rest of it can never live up to it, if that makes sense. And that's kind of how I feel, where you really don't see that many interesting sections of the Overlook Hotel. this super iconic this super iconic horror setting you don't really experience. You get a hallway and a half of Jack doing the "Here's Johnny," which was just a throwaway scene, more or less, or a quick scene, I should say, in the film. They could have easily made that hallway more elaborate, more tense, and kind of built up to that big scare instead of putting it center stage. So that's kind of the way I look at it, and that's kind of the way I look at IPs. Like, if you tiptoe around the most iconic thing about a certain IP, how good can it really be as a representation of that IP? If that makes sense, and if that doesn't lose me points in anyone's book for sounding kind of snarky. Josh, do we see RIP tour? No, I haven't actually. If you send me the link or send me a message after in Discord, I'll try and remember to look it up. And maybe I'll watch it because I have to do laundry and fold clothes after this. Yeah, Skull and Spooky. I talked about the updated spec map, but I'll hit back up on that here in a little bit. Let's do some more matchups. Oh, okay. Fallen versus Zombiegeddon. Fallen. I guess my best story I have about the Fallen is I did Q build for it. I think I mentioned that in my countdown video, and I think this was in the second video I did, where it was good but not great. But yeah, I didn't work HHN that year, but one of my members of leadership at Universal was working at Dead Waters and the Fallen in Soundstage 24, and they asked me if I could help do Q build because they knew I was such a big fan of the event. And the reason I didn't work HHN is because I wanted to go HHN every single night and not be stuck at one house. So that was just a really cool experience and something that I remember fondly, being able to, kind of be a member of the team and a member of HHN without actually, being committed to the event for 2 full months and not being able to go as a guest, just because people knew that I worked hard and I loved the event, Good, warm, fuzzy feeling moment. That's not why I'm picking it over Zombiegeddon. I don't think it was a great haunt. I think it kind of, once they took the, demon aspect out, or the angels aspect out, and it just became demons kind of being demons, it became a lot less compelling, and it just didn't land. Speaking of not landing, that's kind of how I feel about Zombiegeddon. It tried to be like that dark comedy Walking Dead before Walking Dead and zombies were super popular at HHN. And it's like Zombieland, around the time Zombieland came out, but a little darker. But it, oops, spilled water. But it just didn't land for me. It's like when you go and you see a trailer for a comedy movie and you're like, oh, that's really funny. And then it's all the best lines end up being in that trailer, and the rest of it you're just kind of like, yeah, they could have done it so much better, but they didn't, and it's kind of disappointing. That's how I felt about Zombiegeddon. No disrespect to any of the cast that were in it, because I've read a lot about how great a lot of their characters were back in the day. I don't remember that. I just remember the maze and all the what's the word? All the hits kind of just missing for me. Also, yeah, Josh, thank you for asking what Q build is, because I kind of forget not everyone knows it or has worked. So I don't know if it's the same since I'm not at Universal anymore, but at that point it took place, I want to say 2 nights before preview or 1 night before employee preview. Can't remember which one, but we did it before preview, and it's basically the HHN teams building the queues for the event. Most of the time they stay relatively the same within the same venues, but they're cutting the rope and all that stuff, getting everything measured, making the diagrams and the action plans to put it together each night, so that way they can tear it up, or they can tear it down as quick as possible at night and put it up as quick as possible in the afternoon. And it's just kind of that, planning out the logistics, making sure it's long enough to accommodate everyone. And it was an all-night thing. I think if I remember, we started at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. and it was like an event night, like a regular HHN night, and I think we ended at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something, but it was a great experience. It was so much fun. Will, which was worse, Fallen's nerf or Depths of Fear? I mean, I would say probably Fallen's, but I guess we never saw it, so I can't really comment. But I think, for the most part, Depths of Fear still stayed strong with its pacing, even after it got nerfed. Some of it was a little disappointing, but I still think it stayed a strong hand. Ooh. Oh, alright. I got a good story for this one. So, Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters and Mayhem from 2015, or Revenge of the Tooth Fairy from 2020 / 2021. I think anyone who's been through Jack Presents knows that that's the obvious winner, just because it did a lot of things right. And Revenge of the... Pixie, what are you doing? And Revenge of the Tooth Fairy was really cool, and I liked a lot of the stuff that they did with it, but it was kind of like Zombiegeddon. It just, there was something that wasn't working the way it should, and it wasn't quite there. But Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters and Mayhem. So before I met my wife, now that I think about her, or at least before me and my wife were together. But in the, whatever it was, HR Blood and Guts Holidays of Horror, or the Psycho Scare P Home for the Holidays. Can't remember which one it was, but that like strobe light scene with the like elves and Santa chainsaw, whatever they were. One of them got right in my ear and goes, "These nuts." Just like that. Don't know if it was somebody I knew. Don't know if it was just, a veteran's character that had recognized me from going to the event every single night for however many days in a row. But, I still remember that moment. It's still one of my favorite HHN memories. In fact, to prove to y'all, well, I can't really say prove, but to show y'all that I didn't just make this up on the spot, if I am making it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. My Facebook, the face when a character makes a D's nuts joke to you. October 7th, yeah, I was halfway through the event. So I always remember that moment. D's nuts gets my vote. Depths of Fear versus Dead Man's Pier. I think it has to go to Dead Man's Pier, because Dead Man's Pier didn't get a nerf, and even though I didn't love Dead Man's Pier, it was good. It did a lot of good stuff right, especially towards the end with the siren. Like, that was awesome. But Depths of Fear is just way more 6 billion. That's me. I've literally taken all of my BioShock stuff. I have a doll right here. Because, I've taken all of my BioShock stuff out of my backgrounds because I've moved everything around so much. But, I love BioShock. And Depths of Fear, that first, that first scene. Probably spelled that wrong. This intro right here. This is just incredible. This is peak storytelling, peak scenic design. That was perfection. So even if the rest of the haunt wasn't great, it just did a lot of things right to me. Like that scene. Who's calling me? I'm not picking up. Alright. So I gotta give it to Dead Man's Pier. Hurts my heart a little bit, but yeah, Depths of Fear is underrated, I believe. Hey, you're good, Skull and Spooky. Alright. Ooh, I think I put Alien vs. Predator higher. Definitely gonna do Alien vs. Predator here. This is one where I went through the Arcane Insights tour. So for those of you who've been going to HHN for a minute, you know they used to offer a tour where you could go through, it was basically an RIP tour, but with the creators of the event from the art and design team. In 2014, I was lucky enough to be able to get one of the last spots to go on one of those tours towards the end of the event. And we went to literally, I think 2014 is my most visited event year. Like, we went so much. And while I don't remember what the creators said about Alien versus Predator, I just have such good memories of that haunt and the lights on tour, the unmasking with that, because we had 2 tour guides and they just kept trying to scare each other with all the props as they were going through, and they would run ahead and activate like the face huggers and scare them when it wasn't happening, or like in the egg room. Oh, it was so cool. Walking Dead, no safe haven. This was when Walking Dead was still good. Like, that prison courtyard scene is still incredible, but man, Alien vs. Predator in my heart. Let's see. That's fair, Skull and Spooky. Depths of Fear being the scariest at 29. I think Graveyard Game still was scarier for me, but like, I got like right before the deceased animal we will not talk about in Depths of Fear because I don't want people to get mad at me. That dude always got me in Depths of Fear every single night. I have a fear of deep. Yeah, the mouth brooders were great. It's just a shame that the masks were so cranky. Shade, Depths of Fear versus the Depths. It's got to be the Depths for me. For those of you who don't know, the Depths is at Not Scary Farm, and I think they retired it this year. But it was a lot less intense than... Let's see. Here we go. It's a lot less intense than Depths of Fear was. It's longer and more windy, but some of the effects they did were just so much cooler. Like this swamp. You've probably seen something like this at your local haunted house, because a lot of them have started doing it. But they've got the lasers going at halfway, or at your waist, like halfway up the room, or halfway up the scenic, so it looks like they're wading through like this murky, swampy fog. Like, this stuff is so, so cool. And I think that the wow factor of this outweighs the wow factor of Depths of Fear. All right, House of a Thousand Corpses, Hellblock Horror, easy. House of a Thousand Corpses. There's so much detail in that haunt for like a tent that like hadn't had any very detailed haunts any time before. So like, that was awesome. Oh, hi Pixie. Welcome back. I missed you too. Yeah, they do look cool, Skull and Spooky. Alright. Oh, well, considering I've been simping on, Bride of Frankenstein Lives, I think the choice is obvious here for that one. I think it got a little bit better after HHN Light, but I think kind of like Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, I was just a little burnt out on it, so I wasn't really appreciating it at the time. Between the fact that I had done it for HHN Light, which was a terrible time in my life, and then I was at a very stressful, highly demanding job that was terrible for me mentally when I went to HHN 31, so I was stressed for the whole night and a half that we were there, so I couldn't really appreciate it as much then either. Enjoy destroying a McChicken, Nick. Yeah, I agree, Will. The year where all Walking Dead scare zones were pretty cool. It should have happened probably the first or second year they did it instead of in the middle, but like, they did some stuff with it to make it feel different, and I appreciated that. Oh, I'm jealous, Josh. I used to be able to do that when I was in Minnesota, and I haven't been able to do it in years. I miss it. Oh, that sounds so good. Skull and Spooky, House of a Thousand Corpses, movie that you enjoyed but everyone else hated. Yeah, I was never really a Rob Zombie Devil's Rejects fan. I think it was cool for what it was, and it was schlocky and it was grimy, but, like, there just wasn't anything outstanding enough for me to be like, I would rather watch this than any other horror movie, if that makes sense. So good, but not great. Descendants of Destruction is underrated. Yeah, there was some cool stuff, but also it just felt like it went like that. Like, it felt like it should have had one or two more rooms. Like, the ending was great, and that subway car was great, but then there's some other stuff where it was just like, ugh. And speaking of Descendants and House of a Thousand Corpses, House of a Thousand Corpses gets it for me, just because, again, the detail was really good, and it was long, and the pacing didn't suffer, which was surprising. Oh, and we got two terrible adaptions next to each other. Ash vs. Evil Dead versus Last of Us. Ash vs. Evil Dead is the wrong way to do a haunted house. Every scene in that haunt was like hard to see. They blocked it in such a weird way. All of the jokes that shouldn't land or should have landed just didn't land at all. Like, it was just ugh. And The Last of Us, they make all of these empty, boring rooms the big rooms, and they save these action, or they give these action-packed set pieces little hallways or tiny rooms. It's like, ugh. They like did the exact opposite of what they should have done with Last of Us, and they made it feel exactly like Walking Dead. So this is a tough one, but I think Last of Us was just a better haunt. We're going to go to the homepage here in a minute because I kind of want to see. I think I can just click on it. Yeah, because I kind of want to see what the top ones are just to show you guys that as well. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry, everyone. Horrors of Blumhouse, the original from 2017 versus The Forsaken. Obviously, The Forsaken. Scenically, one of the best haunted houses that they have ever done. Incredibly beautiful. I know I've probably simped on it in my countdown series or in streams before, but like that mid-haunt, like middle of the haunt reveal to the corridor, or to the courtyard. Oh, let's see, where is it? It's not a good picture on here. It's disrespectful. There's gotta be someone somewhere. But anyways, seeing that not only in person, but also on like the Lights On tour for that year, like that is like a core memory of me. Also, I never told my parents this, so if my mom's watching, she's probably gonna laugh, but like I sent that picture to my girlfriend at the time because I was like so proud of like seeing this and I thought it was so cool, and she responded back with, "Your hobbies are stupid. Talking about HHN will never get you anywhere." And now look where I am, so anyways, here's Wonderwall. But this is like kind of, you can kind of see parts of it from here. But it was just like this massive, almost like 3-story tall, just cathedral in the middle of a hurricane with half of a ship on the walls of this courtyard. Like, it was just absolutely, absolutely nuts. Josh, we're not going to clown you for your rankings. Don't worry. I've been here to balance everything out. I'm kidding. Yeah, I would never clown y'all for your rankings, except for if you say that 2015 was a better year than 2011. You know, a lot of people like IPs, and I typically don't like them. You know, a lot of people find things scary that I don't find scary, or things that I kind of shrug at a lot of other people like. So, you know, you guys like what you like. There's probably some things I say are super effective that you guys are like, that's pretty lame, but okay. And I say the same about some people. So, you know, we all like what we like, and we're never all going to agree on something. And that's the fun of doing stuff like this, is so we can see differing opinions and hear things in a different way. All right. I'm going to go to the homepage after this one. But Halloween 4 versus Alice Cooper. I don't remember much about Alice Cooper, except for that it was pretty legit, according to my 2012 notes. But this is kind of when people talk about a Bray Wyatt house, again, not being a WWE fan and not really knowing this stuff, I feel like it would feel very similar to Alice Cooper. So That's kind of the way I picture it, and that's kind of the way I, what's the word, remember it at this point. So I don't think it was great. I think it was kind of, I think it could be improved upon. It was a little disjointed and a little not scary, but it had some cool ideas. Halloween 4 was when Halloween stopped being really good, in my opinion. I hate how I made a video on it like a year ago that because I was so mad about this because I finally watched Halloween 4 for the first time. But like they made Penny's service station this like giant like standoff with like dramatic camera effects and like such a cool scene in the movie, and they make this tiny hallway in the haunted house, and it just, oh, there's so much potential for cool stuff that they didn't use. But even with that being said, the like last room of Halloween 4 is like one of the best final rooms they've ever done, so I gotta give it the W based off that. Okay. Just for giggles, we don't even need to talk about that one. Okay. Here's the rankings. Ooh! Some stuff has climbed up. Let's go. So, at least from 2010 onwards, looks like Darkest Deal got number 1, which actually, that surprises me. No, Darkest Deal was like a lot of good for a lot of people, but see it all the way up at number 1? That's interesting. To say it's better than that much stuff? Huh. Fight me, Will. Skull and Spooky, Shrek Theater. Yeah, I know. I know it's because it was in Shrek. There's been some good Shrek haunts, but it just, they didn't have enough space to do anything good with Halloween 4, and it makes me sad. Let's see. Wicked Growth being 3rd, that's not surprised. Icons being this high surprises me a little bit, but, you know, I'm probably the reason Us is this high, to be honest, because I thought that was a pretty good haunt. Oh, and here's some Hollywood ones popping in. Yeah, Monstros, Holidays, La Llorona, for sure. For sure, those all belong in there. How do you check the rankings? The rankings in the top right corner here. All right. Oh, yeah, and Josh's message just popped up. All right. Well, it's been, what, about 2 hours, give or take, with only some minor technical difficulties. So, you know, I consider that a success. Let's see here. Sorry, again, I can't read and scroll and talk at the same time. My multitasking skills are not there yet. But, you know, I think that's about all that I've got for y'all tonight. Is there any questions or anything that y'all want to talk about, or any final things you would like to discuss before I go downstairs and start packing for our brief trip to Minnesota and folding laundry and eating dinner? Skull and Spooky, I'll run through speculation real quick because I know you joined late and you were asking about it. I still think Soundstage 23 is Jungle of Doom. Luna Lord pointed out that it's Marigolds, which could lead to a Latin America legend that I do not remember, which would point to Monstros, but we'll see how it goes. I think Bride of Frankenstein, or whatever female-centric Universal Monsters haunt we get, is going to be pretty cool. So I think if that's the direction we're in for a good time. Ghostbusters is going to be Ghostbusters. A Quiet Place, I think, is going to be one of the best IPs they've ever done. I think they're going to be going all out on puppets with some really cool effects, kind of like the Stranger Things, Demogorgons, and the Mind Flayer, and the Poltergeist puppets from 2018. I think it's got potential for sure. I don't really know anything about the original, so I'm not going to try and speculate, because each one of them sounds like it would be a really incredible concept. The Lantern, I think, is going to be Insidious, and I think it's going to be a mashup of 1, 2, and 5, which is the Red Door, focusing mainly on the lipstick face demon instead of being more of a best of Insidious haunt. And I think that one could turn out to be really, really cool. And then Slaughter Cinema 2, I think it's time they do a schlocky horror haunt, a schlocky comedy haunt. Not just comedy, but like schlocky grimy. So I think the timing is right for it. Whether it's actually Slaughter Cinema or something in that vein, I don't necessarily know. Hayden, yeah. See, I don't think it's on the wiki for Hollywood or Orlando's, because I could have sworn that Hollywood's took place after. I'm gonna look up that now. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. I repressed that. Universal. It's got to be in some news article somewhere, because I know I remember reading something about it. Is this a review? You're gonna find something. Okay, we're gonna save this one. Get like a bad streamer. How do I not know this? I didn't do my research. I know I've read stuff about there, and this is making me so mad that I can't find it. Okay. I'll post something on I'll either post something in Discord or I'll post something on my YouTube. I'll post something. We'll figure it out. Oh, what a day, man. What a day. All right. Let me go get the scaredy cats so y'all can say hi. Because I did promise cats, and I don't give up on a promise. Cohen, Jeannie. If you want treats, you have to say hi to everyone. Say hi, Coey. Oh, here comes Chino. Say hi. Everybody wants to see you. This is the Scaredy Cat channel after all. Okay. You can run away now and hate me. Jeannie. Come here, you little... This cat is the embodiment of Stewie Griffin. You have to say hi. Say hi, Chino. Or Chet, whatever you go by. Look at him, guys. Doesn't he look like when Jimmy Neutron turned into a hamster in that one episode of Jimmy Neutron? Like, that's what he looks like. He's bulbous. I miss the cats too, Skull and Spooky. Also, I feel like Hollywood's had just a lot more monsters haunts overall. I'll have to do the research and get back to you on that. Nixie, you've been in the stream enough today. Here, children, eat away. But yeah, Hollywood has an interesting history. Also, I'm sorry I couldn't get trivia working for you guys. Maybe I'll do a surprise live stream or something and preview it, but I don't know what it was. Probably because I jinxed myself at the beginning saying everything should go fine. But what do I know? I'm just gonna restart this computer and cry. But if that's all that you all have to say, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. Even if it was for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours. I haven't been live that long, but you never know. I appreciate it. I want to do lots of cool HHN things and videos, so stay tuned for more trivia episodes and a revamped countdown in the future. And as soon as we get some solid concrete announcements, you can bet that I will be there providing more on you. But for right now, when we're all just kind of guessing and hoping and getting our anticipations and hopes up, it's it's a little bit harder for me to have things to add the discussion when I could be working on the videos that I need to get out to you guys. So I'm gonna go pack and get back to that, so hopefully I can get a little bit more done tonight. And thanks for stopping by, everyone. Hope to see y'all whenever we do this again, which hopefully it's by mid-May. 6 billion, signing out.